In 1919, the President of Brazil planned an international exposition in Rio to show off modern Brazil to the world. To ensure that foreign dignitaries would have a suitable place to stay, he commissioned the building of a hotel. It was to be the first great hotel in South America. It would stand alone on the great avenue with a glorious view of the beach. The World Exposition itself was a flop, but the hotel became a magnet for the rich, famous, and powerful for the next 70-plus years. And it made Rio and its celebrated beach an international destination. From Edward G. Robinson, Eva Perón, and Janis Joplin, to John F. Kennedy, Brigitte Bardot, and Bono, the great party known as the Golden Age has never really ended here. Because of its role in the development of Rio and its incomparable list of guests, the Copacabana Palace remains the single most storied building in the city. Anne Phillips has worked here for 12 years.
Bom dia.
It is her job to make today's VIPs, heads of state, captains of industry, and tired rock stars on tour, feel at home.
This floor that we're on now is the 6th floor, and it houses 7 penthouse suites. 2 in the middle we put together sometimes for the presidential suite, and on this floor we have a swimming pool that's open 24 hours, and it's for the use of the guests on this floor. There's not many kings and presidents that have visited Brazil that we haven't had here. And it's 24-hour butler service we have here, and everything is silver. This, of course, is the famous Copacabana beach, and at the very end of this beach, it goes on to the Ipanema beach. This is always full of many, many, many beautiful girls in bikinis. We wonder what they do with the ugly ones.
The enormous hotel and tourist industry in Rio is clearly indebted to the idea that started it all so long ago. But today, there's a new breeze blowing. Rio's deluxe hotels used to be traditional, but there is a new modern style here that's changing all that. The Portinari Hotel is based on an unusual idea. Give 10 architects each one entire floor to design. The surprising result is a hotel unlike any other. All the designers who worked on the Portinari are Brazilian, and each employed a signature theme to all the rooms on their respective floors. Each also brings their own interpretation of Rio to their work on the Portinari's rooms. One of these is architect Marcia Mueller. Her commission was to design the 7th floor of the hotel.
I tried to show the amazing way of being in Rio de Janeiro. Rio, above all, is a tropical city, surrounded by mountains and beaches. So I tried to use simple and basic materials like granitina, that is very common in Brazil, in the floor. White, I use a lot of white because it helps to the tropical light to comes in. Glass, to make the space look bigger. And I think that's the style of living in front of the sea, but with the charm of being in Rio, with the Carioca's charm. Some of the things that I think is funny here, the photograph that I put, because we don't have view, because we always stay in the room closed and the air conditioner turned on. So I put a view of Rio.
One of Marcia's protégés is Roberta Moura. Having worked for several of the Portinari's designers, Roberta is a perfect guide to some of the other floors.
Most hotels we have here in Copacabana are very traditional, so it's very interesting to have like a brand new hotel and contemporary hotel that people who want to stay here, it's another way of life to be in Rio.
The hotel is named for the great 20th century Brazilian painter, Cândido Portinari. Stella Orleans y Bragança designed the third floor as a tribute to Portinari's work.
Here in this room, we feel very comfortable, of course, and we have like a lot of colors that's very different from Marcia's work that we had already shown. Stella used here the blue was the color Portinari used frequently. And she showed the tile panel he did in the center city. That's his most famous job. I think she had a very strong influence of Portinari in this room here. Now we are in the 6th floor, and this floor was designed by Hélio Fraga, that he's a very famous decorator for the high society Carioca. Hélio Fraga used a lot of antique furniture in his projects and also a lot of expensive fabrics.
The Portinari is a celebration of Rio's design community. But for its 10 architects, all that design could get a bit confusing, especially during the hotel's construction.
We lost them ourselves sometimes because there is so many different styles here that one day I came to a room, a very classic room, then I climbed another floor and there is another floor completely different, and oh my God, so amazing, so different where I am.
The scene could be Milan, it could be New York, it could be Paris. But it's Rio, and the woman who elevated women's swimwear from simply the most daring in the world to the level of haute couture is known to everyone by her first name, Lenny.
Originally, I was a landscaping architect, and when I moved to Rio, it was difficult. Nobody do gardens, everybody go to the beach, and so I began to do design bikinis for the people from São Paulo that are more conservative in the size of the bikinis.
The legendary Brazilian export, the thong bikini, originated on the beach at Ipanema. But the kind of carioca girls who can carry off that postage stamp style are uniquely suited to it, smaller than even their most fashionable counterparts in Sao Paulo. So Lenny expanded the idea of the sexy suit to include women over size 6. In Rio, bikinis are power suits, and it's one of the few places in the world where swimwear rises to the high end of the fashion market. Lenny's a keen observer of a population that seems at times to exist for the beach, and she makes sexy perfection out of what's happening every day right outside her front door. Her greatest influence is what defines Rio, that innate carioca stylishness. One fashion trend she spotted was when girls started putting their bikini laces on the outside of their shorts.
It's just for the comfort. They put out the lace just to be comfortable. And after, I don't know, 2 months, one Gail began another one because it's a big community, the beach, né? So everybody's looking at everybody, and it was a fashion, and nobody knew exactly how that began. But I think the girls in Rio, they are very special and charming. They create fashion.
Lenny also sheds some light on a curious trend in this sensual, uninhibited town. Girls on the beach here almost never go topless.
I think the men, they love the girls with very small bikinis, but never the top, you know. The men like to imagine what is under the bikini there.
Lenny champions a new generation of Brazilian talent, and many of Rio's best young designers have worked in her studio.
I think we are having a boom of new and young designers in Brazil. This is very special. And now it's beginning. I have the Fashion Week here in Rio. That's very special.
Lenny's phenomenal success has given Rio a place in high fashion and is providing entree for a new generation of designers to sell to the world. One expects Rio's designers to do well in beachwear. Surprisingly, the city has now been elevated to a new status as a hotbed of couture. Isabella Capetto is one of the leading young designers to emerge from Lenny's mentorship. She is forging the way for young fashion designers in Rio with her exquisite jewel box of a boutique, Ibo.
Diferente, amor. E achei interessante ser uma história de amor.
English is Isabella's third language. Her assistant, Claudia, translates.
Isabella had this dream to have this little place. And when she started at home, at her house, in the living room. It was a mess. So when she decided to look for a place, she was looking for something like this, small, in a nice neighborhood. And this neighborhood here, it's very carioca.
And Ibo is very Isabella, who is more artist than fashionista. This exclusive studio offers women a shopping experience that reflects a culture where the elite live in a private world, hidden from the rest. To find Ibo, there's no sign on the street, no indication of what's inside. The shop's considerable popularity exists entirely through word of mouth. Each of Isabella's collections is inspired by an image that captures her imagination. This year, it all comes from an illustrated book, a sensuous love story of Dorothy Iannone and Dieter Roth.
Isabella was in New York, and she saw this book, and she decided to buy it because she loved all the figures, all the paintings of this lady, Dorothy Iannone. So she bought the book, and she decided to work on this book with the colors and with the pictures and everything. And this book, it's about Dorothy and her lover, Dieter, and she tells in letters and postcards and pictures all their love during 30 years. So the collection is all about love and this passion between them. When she bought the book and started reading the book, she saw there was a love story, and she loved the idea of a kind of Kama Sutra stuff, you know. That's why she loved the book.
Each piece is an original, detailed by hand. Using personal touches, sequins, embroidery, and appliques, she achieves a romantic feminine style.
I think she does clothes very
Conceitual.
conceitual, with conceptual clothes, and people are not used to this. People want to wear whatever everybody's wearing. But when she started doing her stuff, it was very different because it was very embroidered with laces and very feminine and romantic. And I think people from Rio wasn't used to this. People in Rio who like Isabella clothes, I think they have an international mind because Isabella clothes, I think, is very international.
Other designers are earning Rio an international reputation in expected areas like beachwear. But Isabella, whose designs are already carried in some of the hottest shops of London and Paris, may turn out to be Rio's ultimate fashion ambassador. There are places in Rio where the quality of the modern architecture will surprise you. Away from the beach, there is a hidden Rio. Behind guarded gates and up secure roads into the hills, there are discreet, luxurious homes where the wealthy live and entertain in distinctive style. This is the private Rio, which outsiders rarely get to glimpse.